Hey everybody, it's me, Laura, and today we're going to do my Natasha Flowers part 2, and this is really fun. I'm taking cane ends here and I'm twisting it up, and I'm going to go ahead and do my Natasha. I want you guys to really watch this. It's very interesting. Depending upon which way you twist your canes, you can get totally different looks. So I twisted this cane horizontally, and now we're going to go ahead and I pushed it down on my surface, giving it kind of a half moon shape, and I'm going to pull it out. Now the thing is, and this is what I've discovered over time, and you're going to see it as we go on here, the more I pull on that particular piece where I go horizontal and I've got the lines lining up there, the more likely the image is to kind of be the same. So it's not a true Natasha, even though you're doing kind of a Natasha technique. But anyways, I'm taking off my ends here and I'm going to show you what I mean. You get this really fun looking kind of petal-like. And I've kept this with my blue, red, and white. I just wanted to kind of try some different colors and see what I would get. But notice the next one. A lot of times these petals, the way this is coming out already, you know, they look pretty much like the last one. So you can really form and create petals all the way around, and it'll give you a true sense of an actual flower. So now, as you can see with these petals, they really do look like they're the same all the way around. There's very minute differences, but you really can't tell. So I'm going to bring in my black here. I'm going to give it a nice center, and then I'm going to use my ball tool and make a nice indent. And then I'll probably put either a pearl or another piece of like white clay in the center and give it a nice center. Okay, now this cane we're going to do a little bit differently. So you notice here I'm kind of squeezing up on the ends, and then when I do that, I'm going to twist this vertically. So from end to end, not horizontally like I did last time. So we're going to see if that makes any kind of difference. And so you're going to notice here too, my lines, you know, just like on that last little bit, the lines flowed horizontally. These flow vertically. And so, like again, I said I'm just going to kind of stretch this out a little bit so it's a little bit more horizontal, but I'm trying to keep that vertical line as much as possible. Once I have that, we're going to go ahead and I'm shaping it with my blade, and then I'll go ahead and then start to pinch this into the form I really want. I'm kind of pinching it a little bit more than usual. I wanted more of a point for my flower. So we're making this just slightly different. And then once I do that, I'm cutting my end off on both sides, and then we'll just cut a slice and see what we get. And sure enough, yep, this is what I was thinking. A lot of my lines are starting to go vertically here. Now, you don't really see it with that first piece, but as you start to see me cut more and more here, you're going to see not only will my lines kind of run vertically, but you're not going to get a distinct overall pattern that will be consistent throughout. Each one of these turns out to be more and more of a true Natasha. Okay, so now I'm filling in that last petal there, and you can really tell this is not consistent all the way around like my last flower. It's definitely, each petal has got its own character. Yes, they have the same colors, but the forms and the patterns are not the same at all. So again, once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put a black center in here, use my ball tool to make that indent, and then possibly put either a little bit of clay or my pearl. Okay, now I really wanted to go ahead and do this one. You know, anytime I deal with cane ends, I start thinking kaleidoscope. So I had to try this feature with my kaleidoscope canes. Now I'm going to use two totally different kaleidoscopes, but you know, you still get the same kind of idea. Right here, I'm going to just kind of pinch up on both ends. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to roll it out a little bit, and then I'm going to start to twist horizontally. Okay, so now I've got this thing where I've twisted it horizontally and I'm creating that half moon shape yet again. This is where you can really get creative with these things. I mean, these petals, you could make them really, really pointed, and I'm keeping them very half moon here. So you can shape this really any way you want. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead to cut my end off, and then we're going to go ahead and cut slices. And you can kind of see, now this cane, this kaleidoscope was pretty detailed. So I'm already getting a lot of detail from just doing this particular Natasha. I also find that right here, see that core, that center? That's the center of that kaleidoscope of yours that you had originally. Guess what? It runs consistent throughout when you try this particular process. So when you take it, you pinch the ends and then you twist horizontally. Yes, when you go to cut this, you're going to start getting a consistent pattern all the way along once more. Okay, now that I got my petals down, I'm going to go ahead and use some white clay this time and make my center. Okay, so this is my other kaleidoscope cane, so we're going to go ahead and I'm kind of rolling this one more time, sorry. And then I'm pinching the ends. And of course, if I'm going to pinch the ends, you know I'm probably going to go ahead and we're going to take this thing and twist it vertically. So it's a little bit, you know, you have to kind of switch it in your mind a little bit when you go to do this because it's so easy to twist it horizontally. But again, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to twist this thing vertically and we're going to see what happens. Okay, I've created that half moon shape. I've cut the ends and we'll just go ahead and start cutting. And sure enough, yeah, see my lines? they're running slightly vertical. You know, I've just decided that, or not decided, I've just discovered that really when you twist it a certain direction, it really makes a difference as to how that pattern will look in the end. This is such that, you know, I'm getting, and I love these colors. Oh man, my yellow magenta, I love it. But when you go to do this, look, those lines are running vertically. They're not running horizontal, kind of like the others. Now, mind you, there was more pattern there, but generally when I twist it horizontally, I'm going to get more of a horizontal line in my pattern when I'm doing it. Right here, I'm getting that vertical. And again, I'm finding that when I create it this way, I'm not getting a true, how do I say this? I'm not getting any real pattern that will run throughout. This is following the lines of a true Natasha, where you get one image, you cut it, and it's not going to be the same as the next. Okay, so you'll notice here I changed out a couple because those were a little bit on the cool side and I wanted some more of my yellow in there, so I cut down a little bit more. But once I have that, I'm going to go ahead, put in a black center, and finish up this particular flower. All right, so this is my favorite Natasha flower method. I'm using the segmented petal cane, and right here I'm going to take that and I'm going to go ahead and squeeze the ends. The lines are going to be running horizontal in the cane, but that's okay. That doesn't really matter because what matters here is how you twist it. And again, it's horizontal. So you're twisting it horizontally, twist, twist, twist. You're going to go ahead and flatten it in. Use your rolling pin or your acrylic roller a little bit to kind of flatten it out if you need to. Form those, you know, that half moon kind of shape. And, you know, the more I lengthen this out, again, the more I lengthen this out, the more I'm going to get a consistent pattern when I go and cut this thing. So when I start to cut slices, yeah, I will be getting, you know, one petal that looks very much like the next one and so on. But again, I'm cutting that side and look at that. Oh, I love this because look at the line. Oh, I loved it. There's something about doing the Natasha with the segmented petal, or I should say the segmented cane, that just, oh, I just love it. I can't get over it. Again, look at that cut and you just get distinct, really fun, interesting patterns. So here I just, you know, I realized I was kind of going into a brick form. I thought, no, let's go ahead. Let's pinch that one end. I want to make sure I get that petal-like look. And once I did that, and actually turned it more into a moon shape, and then I'm starting to cut, and you get some very interesting petal-like pieces. It's all very much a form of line. This is the one Natasha type that is distinct to line. Whenever I've used scrap clay or from scratch kind of clay, it's blocky. This is the one place where it's all line, and a lot of fun. Now I am going to point out one thing here, and I've noticed this consistently when I do it this way. When I use the segmented petal cane and I go ahead and use the Natasha method in this particular way, I always get these loops. So like whenever I cut down, I get this loop pattern, and this isn't the first time this has happened to me. I've had this happen consistently when I try this particular cane in this fashion. All right, so right here, I want to just kind of tell you guys what I got when I started doing this. If you place your lines horizontally in that segmented petal cane, and then you kind of pinch in those ends, and then you twist it horizontally with the registration line, and then cut it horizontally, you'll get the loops with the lines. If you have the horizontal lines, you get the pinched end, you twist it vertically and then cut it horizontally, you'll also get the lines with the loops. If you have the horizontal lines once more and then you roll it vertically, with the registration line, and then twist that horizontally and cut horizontally, again, you'll get the loops with the lines. So I do find this is consistent when I go ahead and try this method in this way. Okay, so now we're going to take that segmented cane and we're going to go ahead and push it together at the ends again. And instead of twisting horizontally, we're going to twist vertically. Now you might notice here on that segmented cane that I've got going, my registration line on the outside really helped tremendously, because whenever I went to go ahead and create these Natashas, I'm like, which way am I pointed? And that registration made a huge difference. And the reason why it made a huge difference is because here I'm going with my lines where they're going to be, they're set vertically. So remember the very first part, I had my lines in my segmented cane going horizontally, and then I pinched in the ends. Okay, this time they're vertical. So they're vertical, and then I twisted it vertically. And then I'm going to cut this though horizontally, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so here we're starting to cut our petals, and you'll notice I don't get a lot of line. So in other words, not a lot of loops and not a lot of thin line. Instead, I'm getting more of a blocky pattern. So this is more consistent with a regular Natasha. Okay, now that I got these all in position, we'll go ahead and add my little ball in the center and finish up this particular flower. But I just want you guys to notice too, look at how circular that is. That right around the center, that white and that blue, it's just like almost like a ringed line compared to where you just get line and you get these like little loops on the first one. All right, with this next segment, I'm going to go ahead, and the lines were vertical there, and I pinched them together, and then I've got a horizontal twist I'm going to do, and then I'm going to cut this one vertically. So I'm not going to cut it horizontal like I've been doing, and I do find, I thought for sure it was going to give me more of a loop thing. Not so. This turned out to be a case of where I really did get more of my true Natasha. However, the lines ran really vertical. So in other words, my Natasha was, it wasn't necessarily blocky like the last one. It was more like line, but it was running more vertical. All right, again, so with this segment of cane, I have those vertical lines that they were placed like that. And then I, of course, kind of squeezed up the ends, and then I vertically twisted it. Okay, and then on this one too, we're going to go ahead and vertically cut yet again. And I found that just like the last few here, I got more of a true Natasha. So I'm kind of wondering if really, I mean, with the exception of the very first one where I cut it horizontally, if you're cutting with your lines, your registration line running vertically on the outside or running horizontally on the outside, that's really going to determine what kind of a Natasha you get, whether it's the one with the lines with the loops, or you're going to get more of your true Natasha where it does not resemble too much the image before it. All right, so here are the end results of my different Natasha flowers. So I have some of the ones with the scrap and scratch clay in here, but again, I have my Kaleidoscope ones, and those really were different because depending upon which way it was cut, you got either more pattern or you got more of that vertical line kind of a thing. Now you'll also notice here I had a couple of my segmented flowers in there, and they really do distinguish themselves differently from the other Natasha flowers. When I look strictly at the segmented cane, I am just blown away. A lot of it is because I love the loops, I love the line, but you can also get kind of a pattern too, depending on how you cut it and how you twist it. So really, I hope you guys will use this for study and reference. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'm always wondering what you're thinking. Otherwise, I am sending out my biggest hugs to each of you, and I hope you have a fantastic day.